In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create a lookup relationship within Salesforce that is populated automatically. Um, the lookup relationship will be a field that is added to the cases object that will link cases underneath a custom object called region. Um, so in this Salesforce environment, there is a concept of region, which is kind of a area within a country or within a state. It could even be or a collection of states that basically denotes a grouping of accounts in a geographical area. A lot of different companies have this set up differently, but for our purpose, it'll just be apparent to the account. So either systematically or via user input, you'll see that on an account in our Salesforce environment that there is a region field. And so this region field will be populated by a user systematically. So I'm going to just see that there's a region lookup here. If I wanted to populate the region here, there's various ways of automatically populating this in Salesforce. But usually you start off with a manual approach. So let's say you have a West region. And so on the West region, you'd want to see a list of all the accounts that are underneath this region, as well as any cases that have been logged underneath this region. So to go back to the Farmers Cooperative of Florida, I'd want to set this to be the West region. So this is typically how users or system admins would set regions or lookups, for an account. But what if you have multiple objects that you want to display on the region page, or other objects that are similar and related to an account that you also want to have displayed on the region object? So right now the way it's set up is you might just have one related list of accounts, but then there's all these other objects that you want to have underneath the region object. And typically the reason you would want to have this is so that people can kind of see what's happening within the region, and also have embedded analytics on the region page that calculate like the aggregate statistics that you want for that region. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and populate those types of relationships automatically. So behind the scenes, I've got a simple region custom object that I created, which all it has is a region name field. So when you go and create the custom object, all I did was add made it named by a region name, not an auto number, and I also went in and I had already created a lookup relationship between account and region, and that's kind of like the current state, the status quo of what your org might look like. You might also have a pick list, etc., that denotes the region, or derive through the state the relationship with the region. But for this video, I just really want to create a lookup relationship on cases to the region. So I'm going to go to the cases list of fields here, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new lookup relationship. So this is the prerequisite to using Lookup Helper, is basically you want to have a lookup relationship that exists, that you are either creating from scratch and want to maintain, or you can actually within the application create a new one. So I'm going to just go ahead and show you the kind of the traditional way we would go about creating a lookup relationship, setting it to point to the region object, and I'm going to go ahead and just give it all the normal defaults. Make it visible to the profiles that I wish to have it visible to, and then the page layouts, and then go ahead and save that field. So once I have that lookup field saved, I can go into Lookup Helper and access the Lookup Helper menu and create a new Lookup Helper setting. And so these settings are really lookup field specific. And so for this solution, my ultimate game is that I want to have a number of fields that are case related at the regional level. So before I can even get to that point, I need to link all my cases to regions. So the first step is to create a lookup relationship between the case object and region object, which is what I've done. And then the next step is to actually create the lookup setting from within Lookup Helper. So now I have to select a child object. So the child object is going to be case in this situation. And here's where you can create whether to create a new lookup relationship, which we actually already did, or maintain an existing one. Since I already have created lookup relationship, I want to select to maintain it. And then you just pick the lookup relationship. So this is going to be the region lookup field. Once you select the region lookup field, now you have to define how are you going to automatically set that field. So there's two options. One is to relate cases when the value in a field on case matches the value of a name or ID field of region. This would be something you would use if, let's say, you had a formula field on the case that pulls down from the account object the name of the region on the account object for that related account. Or you can basically match it to a field. In a field on region to a field on the case page. So in this situation, I'm going to go ahead and pick the first lookup helper setting type. So first you have to select the field on case to match the name and ID of the record. So here you can match fields, field values that are on the case object itself or actually on a related parent. So you don't have to use a formula field. You can just say get me a region that is relating to the same region that's on the account. So I'm going to select the account for the case, and then I'm going to select the region that's on that account. So basically, anytime you create a case, as long as it's not an orphan case and it's underneath an account, whatever that region is for that related account, we're going to, Lookup Helper will search that region value in the region object and basically automatically link the case underneath that region. There's an option here to create new category records. What this basically means is if Lookup Helper encounters an account that's tied to the case, which has a region that's not yet in your database, in the region object, then you can actually create a new category record. This can be helpful if the data isn't directly entered into your Salesforce environment, if you're actually loading it in from another system that's the system of record. For example, let's say you have another territory management system outside of Salesforce, maybe located as part of your ERP system, and you are loading in your territory structure or region table, populating it kind of indirectly on an account object. If that was the case and you ran into a new region or new territory value in one of those fields on the account object, it would automatically create those new records for you, so you don't have to worry about doing data loads from your your source systems. So you can just kind of rely on the transactional data to create those groupings, if you will, or those parent objects. So in this situation, we have a very fixed set of small number of regions. Let's say it's the 4 regions of the United States: West, Central, East, or North or South, whichever your company has. And we're not going to select the option to create new category records. So I can either save the setting and then run it later, or save it and run it now. I'm going to go ahead and save and run it now, just to make sure all my existing cases are updated. So once I set that up, if I already had existing cases, they would be updated. But if I want to run it in real time, you will see that on the All Lookup Helper Settings tab, there is a column for whether your lookup settings are set to run in real time, which means as soon as a record, like a case, is created or updated, if it meets the criteria of something that doesn't yet have a value set in the region field, if it can find a region, it's going to associate that region automatically to that case. So in this situation, if I want to go back and search for my Lookup Helper setting down here, you'll see it is set to run in real time. So we're all set as soon as I add a case. So if I want to go back to, let's say, that one region, the West region, and I see Farmers Cooperative of Florida, if I add a case to Farmers Cooperative of Florida, now I would expect this case to populate on the actual region itself. So here you can see I have the region field blank, and I'm going to just put this case underneath the contact, and just log a dummy case basically here. But the region field will be blank. And populate required values. Now you notice once I saved the case, in real time behind the scenes, the region field West was populated automatically, and that's because the account that is relating to this case, if you drill into it, you'll see that region is West on this case. So that's a simple way of how you can maintain an existing lookup relationship within Lookup Helper using the matching type that searches for regions by name and matches them to a field that that you can derive that has the region field on it on the cases. If you have any other questions about how Lookup Helper works, just contact us at support@passagetech.com. We also have a chatter group available for Lookup Helper as well on success.salesforce.com. Have a wonderful day.